trouble? You came to the right place.
He had no idea what he had done. He had no idea what he had done.
Looking for trouble? Look right in my face.
There are some who'd make me out to be the villain, knocking at your door.
He's a young singer from Memphis, Tennessee. Give him a warm hayride welcome, Mr. Elvis Presley.
Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready. Ready to fly.
My destiny. In that moment, I watched that skinny boy transform into a superhero.
Our country itself is sick, but it's lost its sense of direction, even its common decency.
In that moment, Elvis the man was sacrificed, and Elvis the God was born.
Looking for trouble?
He had no idea what he had done.
Who the hell is that?
Elvis Presley. The way you sing is God-given. So there can't be nothing wrong with it.
Well, it's one for one money.
Without me, there would be no Elvis Presley.
I think this is too dangerous to say. Sing.
So what I did was I edited as much as I could. That way it wouldn't get a copyright. You know what I mean? I was doing my own editing of the preview. Anyway, so this preview is Elvis's new movie that's coming out, which I've already done videos about, you know. But I'm rehashing it because I have something new to show you. So, like I've told you before in my older videos about this, that the movie comes out in theaters on June 24th in America. Okay? And why is this important, the 6/24? Because I told you that June 24th on our calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar, would be June 11th on the old Julian calendar that we used to go by. You see that? Because June 11th is the target date. I told you that's the day Seattle's going to get struck. Okay? You see that? That's why it was released on June 24th. I mean, it's going to be released. And by the way, look, June is the 6th month. 2 plus 4 is 6. So you have 6, 6, and then 2, 2, 2 is 6. So you have 6, 6, 6. And June 11th is 666 also, really, because June is the 6th month. 6 times 11 is 66. And then you have 222 again. So, you know, you could play around with that. And remember this month chart that I created? So if you started from January, it's the first month, right? And June is the 6th month. And December is the 12th month, right? But instead of starting back to number 1, I made January the 13th month. You know what I mean? I just keep going up with the numbers. And look what you get when you do that. So June becomes the 18th month, the 30th month, the 42nd month. Look, the 42, which is super important because Elvis died at the age of 42 in Washington, where Seattle is the 42nd state. I told you how important the 42 is. And I'm going to do another video about that. So if we keep going up, look, June would have the 162 because June 11th is the 162nd day of the year, so that's in June. You keep going down, the 222nd month is in June, and I told you this year is 222. And if you keep going, and June has the 666th month in it, you see? Anyway, I'm just trying to show you all the crazy coincidences, which I've shown in the past already. And remember I showed you this, that in front of Trump Tower, because Trump is Elvis's devil twin, because, you know, Trump is the replacement twin for Elvis's identical twin that died at birth. Anyway, they had the Black Lives Matter right in front of the Trump Tower entrance, and I told you the word lives, L-I-V-E-S, equals Elvis. I'm not equals, it's an anagram for Elvis. I told you that. Just like Levi's. And Elvis was on everybody's genes. You understand? Genes is like DNA. Elvis in your genes, inside of you. Anyway, lives, and Levi's is Elvis. Anagram. That's why you have this Black Lives Matter was all across the earth. So there was a shooting that happened at an elementary school, right? And that's why this guy's back in the news, this David Hogg, who was involved in a Parkland Stone Man Douglas shooting. You understand, the high school? And he's got it like his hairdo, somebody would notice that his hairdo kind of has like an Elvis vibe too. But the reason I'm bringing this guy up, okay, because he has this thing called March for Our Lives. And this David Hogg, this is what he looked like before. Like I said, he has this thing called March for Our Lives. And there's your lives again. Just like I told you, it's an anagram for Elvis. Now look what I found today when I was surfing the news. So this dude is about to tell people to join him and his organization to protest all across the country. Now pay attention. Listen to what he says.
Everywhere across the country.
Watch this.
We need to focus on what we can do, even if it's one thing. And that's why I would ask people to join us in these marches on June 11th is when we plan to do them. And they're going to be everywhere across the country. We need to focus on what we can do, even if it's one thing. And that's why I would ask people to join us in these marches on June 11th is when we plan to do them. And they're going to be everywhere across the country. Join us in these marches on June 11th is when we plan to do them. And they're going to be everywhere across the country.
So these dudes are going to be doing protests all across the country on June 11th. Can you imagine? What the heck is going on, folks? I'm telling you, this is kind of unnerving if you know what I'm trying to say. I told you, this is the year, folks. And also, the Queen, her official birthday will take place on June 11th. See that? It's not her real, it's her real birthday is April 21st. I don't know what they mean by official. But anyway, April 21st is when the Space Needle opened. Okay? But anyway, and also April 21st is the backwards date of 9/11, because April 21st is the 111th day of the year, which leaves 254 days, and the 254th day of the year is 9/11. So it's kind of the backwards birthday, if you know what I'm saying. If you've been watching my videos, you know what I'm talking about. And remember, I told you the year Elvis died in 1977, a horse called Seattle Slew won the Triple Crown, which is the most prestigious race in horse racing. Okay? It won the Triple Crown on June 11th. And its name was Seattle Slew, like to destroy, to kill. Slew Seattle. Get it? What is the chance that the year Elvis died at the age of 42... So that means that Elvis was 42 years old when the Triple Crown happened on June 11th. You understand? And it just so happens that the Belmont Stakes, which is the third leg of the Triple Crown, and there's not going to be a Triple Crown winner this year, not like Seattle Slew, okay? in that year in 1977, but it just so happens it falls on June 11th again this year, and because every year it's a different date, and the last time it landed on June 11th, so the time before, the last time it was on June 11th before this year was in 2016. It fell on June 11th. I'm gonna show you who won in a moment, but remember 216 is an important number. You know that. All right, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But so June 11th, it was in 2016 the last time. And the time before that it fell on June 11th was in 2011. Now let's find out who won the last two times when it fell on June 11th. Let's look at the name of the horse. So the horse that won the 2011 Belmont Stakes, which fell on June 11th, was Ruler on Ice. You see what that means? They're saying Elvis is on ice. You know what I mean? If that's their ruler, you get what I'm saying? He's on ice. They're ready to bring him out. You get what I'm trying to explain to you? Anyway, so let's see who won the 2016. And remember, this fell on June 11th. That's why I'm showing it to you. Let's look at who won the 2016 when it fell on June 11th. And look who won the 2016 Belmont Stakes when it fell on June 11th. The name is Creator. Can you believe that? That's God. Do you understand? So think about how crazy that is, what I just showed you. And you know, I told you that Trump is also going to resurrect on August 4th. I mean, not on August 4th, he gets his head wound and he resurrects like 3 or 4 days later. But in 1988, when Trump, because Trump turned 42 on June 14th, 1988. So in 1988, the Belmont Stakes, which is the third leg of the Triple Crown, fell on June 11th. Let's see what the name of the horse was the year Trump turned 42. Look at that. The horse was called Risen Star. Can you believe it? Can you believe that? Risen Star. Because I told you Elvis is going to rise, right, on June 11th. And it was on June 11th, 1988. And by the way, that year, Elvis turned 53 years old in 1988. And why is the 53 important? Because February 22nd, which is 2/22, is the 53rd day of the year. And I told you this year is 2022, 2/22, get it? And he turned 53 the year that Risen Star won the Belmont on June 11th. Which is the year Trump turned 42 and Elvis turned 53. And the first winner of the Triple Crown was a horse called Sir Barton. So it's got the bar like for Barack and TON for the Washington. But anyway, look, it was on June 11th, 1919. Look at that. And it was on June 11th, the first one, you see? Like I said, every year it's on a different date. So for it to be the first one, it means something. And it's very rare for a Triple Crown horse to win all three races. Like I told you, the Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, you have to win 3 races to win a Triple Crown. And the Belmont is the third leg. And like I said, it falls on June 11th, once every 5 or 6 years. Anyway, so it's very rare. Only 13 horses have won out of 100 and something years. And Elvis in 1935, he was born. So let's see if there was a Triple Crown winner that year. A horse called Omaha won the Triple Crown. And by the way, I've shown this info before, all of what you're seeing here. Omaha sounds like Obama. You see that? And when Elvis was born, there was a Triple Crown winner that year. But it wasn't on June 11th, this one. But it doesn't matter. The fact is that it's a Triple Crown is very rare, like I said, for a horse to win all 3 races. It's only been done 13 times out of 100 and something times. And it was the third one that won. The Omaha was the third winner of the Triple Crown. And Trump, his devil twin, was born in 1946. So let's see if there was a Triple Crown winner that year. So there was another Triple Crown winner in 1946, the year that Trump was born. And he was the 7th winner. So that means between 1935 and 1946, there was 5 Triple Crown winners. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because he was the 7th one. So Elvis, the year Elvis was born, it was the 3rd Triple Crown winner. And the year Trump was born, it was the 7th. 3, 7. I'll tell you what that means in a second, but look at the name. Assault. I mean, can you believe this? Assault. But anyway, 3 and 7 has to do with the word El. El means God. The numbers 3 and 7 or 7, 3 looks like the word El if you turned them upside down, the numbers. 3, 7, 7, 3 looks like the letters El. El means God. I told you Elvis is the Antichrist and he's going to get crowned, okay, this year. And I told you he's known as the King, and Seattle's in King County. And you know Elvis's first job was at Crown Electric. Look at that. It's got the EL, Electric. But it's the Crown. That was his first job. Can you believe that? And it was on 420, which is the 4-2 with a crown. Elvis died at the age of 42, and Washington's the 42nd state. 4-2 with a crown. The O is a crown. And it was in 1954. And why is this important? Okay? That he worked at Crown Electric. And by the way, like I said, it was his first job at the Crown. Just, hold on, I'm getting to the point. So the Antichrist, I told you, equals 154. Don't pay attention to other numbers. 154 is what the words the Antichrist equals. 154. And Seattle's in Washington, right? And it's all about death and destruction. So George Washington died on December 14th, 1799. So all we're going to pay attention to is to what I say, okay? Pay attention here. So from the death of Washington, the day he died, to the day Elvis worked at Crown Electric, which was his first job, is 154 years. The Antichrist equals 154. And I just told you that it falls on 4-2 when he got crowned, which is the 42 with a crown. Okay? And it was in 1954. And that's why it's 154 years. The Antichrist equals 154. And it was from Washington's death. Because it's all about death and destruction. And remember, the devil's in the details. So let me show you one more connection to this before I show you the real interesting thing. So remember, I told you the devil's in the details. That's what it's called when I talk about the percentage. So it was 100. It's 154, which is the Antichrist, and you have what's left, 45.21. What is the 45.21%? So pay attention. So if you went from January 1st, 1946 to the day Trump was born, June 14th, 1946, the same year, from the first of the year to his birthday, look at what the percentage is. 45.21%. You see what I just showed you? That other equation to from Washington's death to the day Elvis worked at Crown Electric the first day, it was 154. 45.21%. Okay? So 154 is the Antichrist, and then you have the 45.21, which is Trump. Okay? You understand? That's the day he's born. And I told you from Elvis's birthday, the day he's born, if you go forward 154 days, it lands on June 11th. See, if you include that day, it's 155. So it can be either 154 or 155 days. And I told you the 154 is the Antichrist. And you think it's a coincidence that from Elvis's birthday to June 11th is 154 days? Okay? And by the way, it's the same equation from Elvis's dad's birthday, 4/10, April 10th, to 9/11. It's the same equation. April 10th to 9/11 would be 154 or 155 days from Elvis's dad's birthday, April 10th. But anyway, again, it's the Antichrist number, right? 154. And here's the last thing I'm going to show you. And I told you this year's Belmont is on June 11th, right? Okay, before I show you the last thing, I just remembered one thing. That from Seattle Slew, in 1977, the year Elvis died, from the day Seattle Slew won to this day, it's going to be exactly 45 years. And I told you Trump is the 45 president. He's the 44th person to become president. He's the 45th actual president. And it's going to be 45 years exactly from Seattle Slew's win of the Triple Crown in 77, the year Elvis died. And from Elvis's death date on August 16th to June 11th, it's still 44 years. Okay? So it's 44 or 45, depending on what day you counted from 1977. Just like I said, Trump is the 44-45. Anyway, so this year's Belmont is on June 11th, right? The day Seattle's going to get struck. And Seattle Slew won the Triple Crown back the day Elvis died on June 11th. Anyway, let's look at what number running of the Belmont Stakes is this year. So, like I said, this year's Belmont Stakes is on June 11, 2022. Let's see what number Belmont Stakes it is. Look at that. The 154th running of the Belmont Stakes. It's the Antichrist number. You see that? And it's running this year. And I told you Seattle Slew won this the year Elvis died. Seattle Slew. Do you get it? Do you understand? Slew means to kill. Same year Elvis died. June 11, 1977. Like I said, folks, if you believe in crazy coincidences like that, then, like I said, you don't have a brain in your head. Okay, so just remember, don't get my predictions twisted. Remember, Elvis somehow manifests after this spectacular event in Seattle on June 11th. And then the other prediction is Trump gets his head wound on August 4th in Ohio. And he survives the head wound. Okay? And comes back like 3 or 4 days later. End of video.